This is the Iron Spells and Spellbooks mod, adding nearly 100 spells across multiple different elemental classes, as well as new armor sets to make you feel like a true wizard. In this video, I'm taking a deep dive into the progression, items, making spells, elixirs, armor sets, and plenty more. Stick to the end and you'll know how to become a master of wizardry. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified when I upload part 2, where I show off the advanced magic, NPCs, structures, bosses, and loot. Enjoy the video. So the way that you guys start is you need to find some spells. And right here, I have a couple of spells. These are not all the ones in the mod. These are just a few that I chose at random. These spawn in dungeon chests, desert temple chests, jungle temple chests, pretty much any chests that spawn in vanilla or modded structures. I'm going to show you guys an example. So I teleported very far away and I found a desert pyramid, and I'm going to show you guys what these chests have to offer. So there is a chance that we will have spells or potentially a few components that I want to go over. So let's check chest number 1. All right, there's no spells. All right, this doesn't have spells either. Oh gosh. All right, so here we have some of the components that I wanted to go over. Arcane Essence and these inks. So Arcane Essence is going to be used in a lot of recipes that we're going to be talking about later today. This can be found in just about any treasure chest, as well as these inks. So let's check chest number 3. Okay, we got a spell. Recall. This is one of the most useful spells. And chest number 4. Alright, there's no spell in there, but we got Recall, which is great. It teleports you back to your bed or spawn location, but just for the sake of showing you guys what some spells do, I'm going to grab a couple of these at random, and I'm going to put this back there. If I were to cast them just right here, it would get rid of the scroll, I would lose the spell, and it would be very pointless. Just for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to cast a spell. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Magma Ball, which is a very powerful offense spell. I'm just going to right click, it'll charge it up, and it'll cast the spell. The spell scroll's gone, and that was kind of pointless. So how do I actually keep the spell so I can keep recasting it in the future? Well, all you're gonna need is a spellbook. And here I have all the spellbooks that are in the base mod. So you got the Flimsy Journal, Ironbound Tome, Rotten Spellbook, Apprentice's Spellbook, Enchanted Spellbook, Druid Tome, Village Bible, Blaze Instruction Manual, Ancient Codex, Dragonskin Spellbook, as well as these two, the Necronomicon and the Grimoire of Evocation. But for the sake of you just starting out, you're going to want to craft one of these two, the Flimsy Journal or the Ironbound Tome. The recipe for the Flimsy Journal is 2 copper ingots, 1 string, and 6 paper, and you will get that. It has 5 spell slots. But let's be honest, have some self-respect. Skip that and just go straight to the Ironbound Tome because it's a much better book. And the recipe is very easy. You just need 3 chains, 4 leather, and 2 paper, and you got yourself your Ironbound Tome. And I'm going to take that over here to this other setup with all these new blocks that are in the mod. And what you're going to want to craft is this inscription table, which is crafted very easily with 3 slabs of your choice and 2 matching fence of the same wood type, as well as a book. You will get your inscription table, and you can place that down right here. And what you're going to want to do is open that up, put your spellbook of your choice in this slot, as well as a spell right here. Click this, and it'll add it to the spell book. You can remove the spell right here and re-add it in a different slot if you wish, and then just put different spells in different slots. It's really up to you. You can do whatever you like. But then I'm going to take the Ironbound Tome out, right-click to equip. And when I equip the spell tome, it's going to put it in my Curios slot. You need to have Curios installed in order for this mod to work properly. You can remove it by just taking it out or putting it back in. And you can see on the bottom left, the 4 spells that I added are shown right there. And the way that you access these spells is through your controls, keybinds, scroll down to Iron Spells and Spellbooks, and you'll see Open Spell Wheel. I have set to C. You can choose whatever you like. By default, it is set to R, but I have it set to C. And for Cast Selected Spell, I have set to Left Alt, but by default, it is set to V. So you can change that to whatever you like, but I like it at Left Alt. I'm going to press C to open my spellbook, and you can see all the spells that I have in the book. You can move around them with your mouse. I'm going to stay on Icicle, and I'm going to press Left Alt to cast Icicle. As you can see, when I cast it, you can see I use mana on the bottom right above my hunger bar. Your mana recharges slowly over time. Here I got Flaming Strike. This is a melee spell. I'm going to go in third person just to show you. So anything that I hit with that will take a lot of damage and get set ablaze. Here's Wither Skull. Just shoots a Wither Skull. Very simple. And here is Healing Circle. This can heal multiple targets. It has a little bit of time to set up. Anything that is in this circle will heal slowly. But I want to show you guys what each of those spell schools mean. because each of these spells is from a different school. For Icicle, it's Ice, Flaming Strike, it's Fire, Healing Circle, it is Holy, and Wither Skull, I believe, is Blood. In here, I have all of the different schools of magic, as well as the item associated with them in order to craft said spells. For Evocation, you need Emeralds. For Nature, you need Poisonous Potatoes. For Fire, you need Blaze Rods. For Lightning, you need Bottles of Lightning, which is crafted very simply by taking some glass bottles over to a charged creeper and right-clicking. For Ender, you need Ender Pearls. For Blood, you need Blood Vials, which I'll show you how to get shortly. For Holy, you need Divine Pearls, which are crafted with 1 gold ingot and 1 amethyst shard. For Ice, you need Frozen Bones, which are dropped by strays in frozen biomes. But now that you know the material associated with each spell class, how do you actually craft said spells? You need a Scroll Forge, which is crafted very easily with 3 polished deep slate and 4 crying obsidian. You got your Scroll Forge. Go ahead and place it down here. I'm just going to grab a few of those elements. And these inks, which are found in treasure chests like you saw before. The epic and legendary inks can be found in much rarer structures such as ancient cities or end cities, but I'm just going to take some of these. Oh, and I need the paper. So right click to open the Scroll Forge. You're going to see these 3 little item tabs. You're going to want to put your ink there, paper, and your desired element of choice. I'm going to start with Ender. When I put the Ender Pearls there, it shows all the spells that can be crafted with common ink. If you have a higher end ink, I'm just going to grab these other 2 just to show you. I'm going to put uncommon. It'll show a few more spells that can be crafted. Now, in my own personal experience with this mod, the first spell that I highly recommend crafting once you have a Scroll Forge is Teleport, because Teleport is so useful. It will help you so much in the game. It has such a short cooldown. So yeah, just start with Teleport as your very first spell. It is super useful. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the spellbook and go to Teleport and cast it, and it just teleports me to wherever I look. It's level 1, so it teleports me 10 blocks. But if I were to craft Teleport with rare ink instead of uncommon ink, it will be level 2 and will teleport me twice the distance. And this keeps going up. The farther you go in spell rarity, the higher level the spell will be, depending on the ink that you use. But if you don't have higher level inks, what you can also do is craft an Arcane Anvil, which is crafted very easily with 3 blocks of amethyst, 1 diamond, 2 polished deep slate, and an anvil. You got your Arcane Anvil. Go ahead and place that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to craft a second level 1 teleport. Oh, 1 second. I got to take the other level 1 out of here. I'm going to open up the Arcane Anvil, and this functions just like a normal anvil, but it works for spells. So just like enchanted books, say you have a sharpness 1 and another sharpness 1, and you want to get a sharpness 2, you'd put them both in here and you get sharpness 2. For spells, it's the same way. So I have 2 level 1 teleports. I'm going to put them both here, and I got a level 2 teleport. Now this is great for upgrading spells without having higher level inks, because legendary and epic ink are very rare and very hard to find. So if you had a lot of common inks, you could just keep upgrading the spells and you could get to the max level teleport, but it's also possible to just find those inks in ancient cities, end cities, and some of the modded structures. But again, as long as you have the material associated with the spell, paper, and any type of ink, you'll be able to craft any of the spells that are available. So I'm just going to switch the Ender Pearls to Blood Vials, and it will show all of the blood spells. Again, this is legendary. I'm just going to go down to common. These are all the common spells for blood. And now I'm going to go to Poisonous Potatoes to show you guys nature. These are all the spells that can be crafted with common ink. It's the same with every spell class: ink, paper, spell material, and it works. But let's say on your travels you find some spell scrolls that you don't really care about, and you much rather transfer them into scrolls that you can use on spells that you actually do like. Well, you're going to need this Alchemist Cauldron, which is crafted very easily with 4 iron, 2 arcane essence, a cauldron, and a cinder essence. Cinder essence is found by killing ancient knights, which are found most commonly in the Ancient Battleground, which is a brand new structure in the Iron Spells and Spellbooks mod. This guy right here is an ancient knight, which is just this empty set of netherite armor. The way that you spawn an ancient knight is just by breaking it. And there's your Ancient Knight. He's very scary and he does a lot of damage, so I'm going to go ahead and go to creative mode. And then I'm just going to fight him in here. He has his own set of unique attacks, but eventually he will die and he will drop our Cinder Essence. But if you don't get Cinder Essence from the first Ancient Knight, don't worry, because there are a lot in every ancient battleground, so you will be able to stock up on this stuff very quickly by just spawning all of these guys and killing them. But remember, wear some armor, bring some higher end spells to fight them because they do a lot of damage. With that Cinder Essence, you can craft the Alchemist Cauldron. Then you're going to want to go ahead and place that down and drop a water bucket in the cauldron, and then you can see these bubbles, which means the cauldron is active. Now, to get the blood vials, which are used for all of the blood spells, you're going to want to get a mob to fall into the cauldron. So I have this chicken right here, which I'm just going to spawn right there, and he's going to start taking some damage. And as you can see, in the cauldron is his blood. To harvest that from the cauldron, you're going to want to grab some glass bottles and right-click the cauldron, and you will get some blood vials. Oh. You can just right-click with a bottle of water and it'll put it back in. There are also a lot of new elixirs and potions that you can craft with the Alchemist Cauldron. So to start, the Oak Skin Elixir is crafted with 1 oak log, 2 instant health 2 potions, and then you'll get your Oak Skin Elixir. Now, Oak Skin is actually a spell that gives you a little bit of damage reduction. This elixir is great if you don't want to waste a spell slot in your book and you just want to get the effect. But there's also the Greater Oak Skin Elixir, which is crafted with 1 Amethyst Shard, 2 Oak Skin Elixirs, and then you will get your Greater Oak Skin Elixir, which has higher damage reduction value than the first elixir. Then you got your Instant Health 3 potion, which is crafted with an Amethyst Shard, 4 Instant Health 4 potions, and then you will get your Instant Health 3 potion. The Invisibility Elixir, which unlike vanilla invisibility potions, will hide the items in your hand as well as the armor that you are wearing until you attack a target. This is crafted with 1 Shriving Stone, 4 Invisibility potions, and then you'll get your Invisibility Elixir. The way you craft a Shriving Stone is with 1 Raw Iron and 1 Amethyst Shard. To get the Greater Invisibility Elixir, you need 1 Amethyst Cluster, which is found in Amethyst Geodes, 1 Invisibility Elixir, and then you'll get your Greater Invisibility Elixir. Then there's my personal favorites of the elixirs, which is the Evasion Elixirs. So the first one is crafted very simply with 1 Ender Pearl, 4 Instant Mana 3 potions, and then you got your Evasion 2 Elixir. So Evasion is also a spell just like Oak Skin, but I'm going to show this one off because it has a very unique effect. So the way that this potion works is if you drink it, the next few times that you get attacked, you will teleport automatically, just like an Enderman does with arrows. So I'm going to summon a skeleton, and it's going to start shooting at me, and I'm going to automatically teleport. And after 2 shots, I lose my Evasion Elixir. So that's the evasion effect. And then there's the Greater Evasion Elixir, which will allow up to 4 hits before the effect wears off. This is crafted with 1 Dragon's Breath, 1 Evasion Elixir, and then you got your Greater Evasion Elixir. But back to the Evasion Elixir, the way that you craft these mana potions is actually through Arcane Essence with awkward potions on a brewing stand. If you want to have a little bit more fun with the recipe, you can also craft them within an Alchemist Cauldron. But not just the mana potion, you can craft any vanilla Minecraft potion in the Alchemist Cauldron as long as you use the item necessary to craft it, as well as the awkward potion base. I'm going to show you guys how. Just to start with the instant mana potion, all you want to do is right-click the cauldron with the awkward potion to drop it in, and then right-click and drop your arcane essence in the cauldron. Wait a few seconds, and that will turn this liquid into your instant mana potion. Then right-click with glass bottles to take your potions of mana out, and then you got them. Now, just to show as an example for the vanilla potions, you can do the same thing. So I'm going to right-click with the awkward potions, put the magma cream in, wait a few seconds, and then it will turn into a fire resistance potion. Then I can just right-click with a glass bottle. I don't know why that's mundane. Right-click with a glass bottle for all 3, and then you will have all 3 of your fire resistance potions. That is not the only function of this Alchemist Cauldron. You can also use it to completely get rid of spells and turn them into the ink of your choice. So if you were to use 2 legendary spells, I'm just going to put both these in the cauldron to show you guys, it will turn into a legendary scroll. But it'll take a little bit of time. Then I can right-click with the glass bottle, and I will get my legendary ink. If I were to use 2 very low-level spells, say these 2 level 1 spells, it will turn into common ink. And then I can just right-click, boom, common ink. And in the recipe, it shows that 1 common level recipe gives you 50% of a common ink, so just use 2 and you'll get a common ink. Let's say legendary. So if I wanted to craft just legendary ink itself, I could use an amethyst shard and 4 epic ink to get that, and then I could use that on a legendary level spell. This is the same for epic ink. You can use a gold ingot and 4 rare ink to get 1 epic ink, or you could use 1 iron ingot and 4 uncommon ink to get a rare ink, or you could use a copper ingot and 4 common ink to get an uncommon ink. It's a very useful block for if you find a bunch of scrolls that you don't plan on using, just turn them into ink and use them on spells that you like. Those are all the new blocks, so now I'm going to show you guys some wizard swag. So over here in this chest, I have all of the rings, necklaces, crown, and all these staves that you can get in the mod. So the most important ring is the Ring of Mana, which gives you plus 100 max mana, which is great for being able to cast more spells. The recipe is 4 arcane ingots, which are crafted very easily with 8 arcane essence, along with the ingot of your choice, and then you got your arcane ingot. Then you need a diamond, and then you got your Ring of Mana. This is the ring that I highly recommend that you guys wear in the late game when you have all the best armor and all the best spells and all the best stuff that you like. And then there's all these other rings which are found as loot. There's the silver ring, which gives you plus 25 max mana, not as good as this one. The Ring of Recovery, which gives you plus 15% cooldown reduction on spells, which is useful, but not as good as this one. Then there's the Ring of Expediency, which gives you plus 15% cast time reduction, which is great for some spells that take a long time to cast. The Heavy Necklace, which gives you plus 15% spell resistance, not really that useful. Emerald Stone Plate Ring, which makes it so that slain creatures drop plus 25% experience, which is really only good for if you're mob farming. The Fireword Ring, which is the second most useful one, which I highly recommend that you carry around with you at all times, grants you fire immunity. You only need to wear one of these rings to get the full effect. Carry it around in your inventory at all times, especially when you're in the nether, and it is super useful. Wear one of these, and then you're pretty much set. The Frostword Ring, which grants freezing immunity, which isn't really that useful. The Poison Word Ring, which also isn't really that useful. And the Ring of No Affinity, which I don't know why you would want to wear that, but you do you. And then the Ring of Invisibility, which has a very funny description. I would read the fine print, but I can't see it. Then you got the Conjurer's Talisman, which gives you plus 10% summon damage, the Amulet of Concentration, which makes long casts uninterruptible, which is great for spells that take a very long time to cast. This is the second best one that I would recommend. The actual best necklace is the Amethyst Renaissance Charm, which grants you plus 15% mana regeneration. The way you craft it is with 4 leather and 1 amethyst shard. It is the easiest thing ever, and it is the best necklace. Wear this and 2 rings of mana and you're pretty much set. Then there's the Tarnished Crown, which drops from a boss mob that I'll show you guys later. Don't ever wear this crown because it takes your helmet slot, and there are a lot of better things that you could be wearing in this. So yeah, just don't ever wear it. It even looks ugly, so I just would never recommend this crown. And then you got these staves. And now the thing with staves are, if you have spells in a spellbook, you can right click with a staff if you have it in your hand and it will cast the spell. And as long as you are holding the staff, it will give you a certain benefit, such as the Greybeard Staff with plus 25% mana regeneration and plus 10% spell power. You can craft the Greybeard Staff very easily with 1 arcane essence, 1 wooden shovel, and 1 iron ingot. And you can take it and hold it, and it looks cool. It looks like a wizard staff, which is the point, and I can just right click and it will cast the spell that I have currently selected, which is the Icicle. But there are also some more staves. So there's the Artificer's Cane, which gives you plus 10% spell power, plus 15% cast time reduction, and plus 15% cooldown reduction. This is crafted with 3 crimson planks, 2 gold ingots, and 1 amethyst shard. I personally just skip this and go straight to this one because look how cool it looks. Then there's the Ice Staff, which has plus 15% ice spell power, plus 5% spell power, and plus 25% mana regeneration. The Ice Staff is crafted with a Frosted Helve, which is crafted with 4 frozen bones and 3 arcane ingots, as well as a permafrost shard. You have a chance of finding a permafrost shard at this new impaled icebreaker structure, which is essentially just a boat that's tipped over. I'm going to open this and go in and open some of these, and maybe, just maybe, I will be able to find a permafrost shard in here. Oh, there's some spells, and the Frostward Ring, which we just went over, and okay, so there's a permafrost shard in this chest. Of course, it's the last one that I opened. And there's epic ink, so that's good. This staff is one of the coolest looking, and it goes perfectly well with my Icicle spell. Then there is the Rod of Lightning, which is my personal favorite because the lightning class of spells are my favorites. This is crafted by using an energized core, which is crafted very easily with 8 bottles of lightning and a block of copper. So what you want to do to get the Rod of Lightning is you need to go outside during a thunderstorm. So I am in the village above my base. So I'm going to place down a lightning rod, which it's a vanilla item, is crafted with 3 copper ingots. You gotta place it down and then right click with the energized core. And it will shoot it with lightning, do a lot of damage to the area, set everything on fire, but you will get your Rod of Lightning. Look how cool this thing looks. It gives you plus 5% spell power, plus 15% lightning, plus 15% lightning spell power, and plus 50% cooldown reduction. And it has basic attack damage, but I can still use ice spells. Oh, thank you. But I could still cast spells of different spell classes with it. And last but not least, there's the Blood Staff, which is not actually craftable. It's dropped by a boss mob, which I will show you guys very soon. This gives you plus 5% spell power, plus 15% blood spell power, and plus 10% summon damage. This thing looks very cool, but that's pretty much it for the staffs. Now onto the armor, because we all want to look like wizards, right? We all want to look cool. Here is every set of armor in the Iron Spells and Spellbooks mod. This is the easiest set to craft, which is the Wandering Magician set, which is crafted very easily by taking a piece of leather armor and putting an arcane essence next to it, and then you get the Wandering Magician version of it. This crafting is the same for every piece of this armor. Just take leather armor and put arcane essence next to it, and you get the full set. This is the easiest set to craft, and it will give you some very basic buffs which will help you in the beginning of the game when you're just starting out with spellcasting. Plus 25 max mana on each piece, giving you an additional 100 mana, upping your standard 100 to 200. This armor looks pretty cool. It's your apprentice or beginner armor, and it definitely gives that vibe, but you're not going to want to stay on this armor for long because it gives the same protection as iron armor, and there's just better stuff than that. Next is the Scarecrow set. And to craft the hat, you need 3 arcane cloth, which are crafted very easily with 8 arcane essence, and a wool of your choice. 3 of those, 1 leather cap, and a carved pumpkin, and then you got the hat. The Scarecrow coat is crafted with 4 arcane cloth, 2 leather, and 2 hay bales. The leggings are crafted with 2 hay bales, 3 leather, and 2 arcane cloth, and the boots are crafted with 2 arcane cloth and 2 hay bales. This gives you plus 50 max mana for each piece, making it a total of plus 200, making your new total mana 300. This armor looks horrifying. It has the same protection value of diamond armor, but there is still much better stuff in the mod than this. Now we're on to the cream of the crop, the absolute best armor in the mod. Each of these sets are all geared to a different spell class, except for this one, the Netherite Battle Mage set. To craft the set, you're going to need a lot of arcane cloth, as well as netherite ingots. This crafting convention is pretty much the same for all of these sets, which I'm going to be showing you in a second. You're just going to need a lot of arcane cloth with the desired elemental material for each piece of the armor. Each set gives you a buff for a certain element. For example, the Cryomancer coat, which is the ice armor, gives you plus 8% ice spell power, and the Pyromancer armor, which is the fire armor, gives you plus 8% fire spell power. This does not give you any spell buff. Instead, it gives you the armor toughness that netherite armor has. You can choose this armor if you like. Personally, I think it's kind of ugly. It just doesn't really look like wizard armor. It's a mix of wizard armor with vanilla netherite. If that's your thing, then definitely go with that, but I personally would not recommend. But that's not my thing, so I'm going to show you guys these other sets of armor, which, again, every single one is crafted with a lot of arcane cloth, as well as a rune dedicated to that element. So the ice rune is crafted with 8 frozen bones, and a blank runestone. Blank runestones can be found in treasure chests in just about every vanilla structure, almost every vanilla structure, as well as the modded structures for this mod. So again, for the Chiromancer set or the Cold set, you're going to need the Ice rune. For the Shadow Walker set or the Ender set, you're going to need the Ender rune. Every elemental rune is just crafted with a blank runestone, surrounded by its elemental item, which I showed you earlier with the spell classes. So for Ender, it would be Ender Pearls, and for Fire, it would be Blaze Rods, and for Electromancer, it would be Bottles of Lightning, and so on for every single set. I'm gonna put on every set of armor just to show you what they look like. So first, we have the Cryomancer set, which is the Ice set, and it's also worth noting that all of these sets of armor increase your max mana up to 500 without any ring augments, so this armor looks very cool. It definitely gives off a lot of surviving in the winter vibes, and I like the wolf that's on my shoulder. Very neat, very cool, pun intended. Next is the Shadow Walker set, or the Ender set, and this is one of my favorite sets because look how cool I look. I look like I'm about to take on an entire army. I look so cool. And next is the Pyromancer set, or the Fire set, and it looks alright. I don't know why my head is sticking through the hat, but it's cool. It's the Fire set, but it's not one of my favorites. And now This is the Electromancer set, and oh my gosh, this thing looks so freaking cool. It's lightning. I use a lot of lightning spells, so this is right down my alley. It is my go-to set next to the Shadow Walker set, and yeah, I just really like it. And next is the Cultist set, and I'll be honest, this looks horrifying. I look like I'm in a cult with this set, which I get that's the idea, but still, the armor is horrifying. It's for the blood spell class, so if that's your thing, then this is the armor for you. And next is the Arc Evoker set. This armor makes you look like a dignified individual. I look so freaking official. I love the hat as well. A nice little top hat looking wizard hat. Such an official looking set. This is for the evocation spell class, so if that's your thing, then this is the set for you. Next is the priest set, or the holy spellclass set. I look awesome in this, and so holy. I'm not the only one that heard that, right? Next is the Plague set, or the Nature set, and this makes me look like a plague doctor. I mean, if your spell class is primarily nature, then this is your armor set. I'm not gonna fault you for it. That is every set of armor in the mod. Now, the Electromancer and the Shadow Walker set are definitely my two main favorites. Did you notice how all of these chest plates say can be imbued on them? All of these sets, except for the first two, can be imbued, meaning that you can add a spell scroll to the chest plate in order to use it without a spellbook. But first, I want to go over here to show you guys all of these upgrade orbs. So upgrade orbs can be used to give a small buff to armor, spellbooks, staves. So as you can see with each of these, there is a little buff on the bottom showing you what each orb does. But you can't actually craft any of these orbs without crafting an empty upgrade orb, which is crafted with 4 arcane ingots, 4 cinder essence, and 1 arcane salvage, which is crafted by finding arcane debris. Arcane debris can be found anywhere in the overworld below -38. I'm using an x-ray to show you guys just how rare this stuff is. It generates very sparsely, so as long as you're under -38Y, you will be able to find this stuff. You just gotta do a lot of mining. Once you actually find that arcane debris, just melt it down and you get your arcane salvage, and then you can go ahead and craft one of these upgrade orbs. I'm gonna use the lightning upgrade orb because it's my favorite element. It is crafted with 8 lightning runes and 1 upgrade orb. Lightning runes are crafted once again with 8 bottles of lightning and 1 blank runestone. And for almost every upgrade orb, this is pretty much the same thing. Now on to the runes that are slightly different. So you got the mana upgrade orb, the protection upgrade orb, and the cooldown upgrade orb. The cooldown upgrade orb is crafted by using recovery runes, which are crafted with phantom membranes, and you use that to make this. The protection upgrade orb uses pufferfish to craft the protection runes, and for the mana upgrade orb, you're gonna need arcane runes, which are crafted with arcane essence around a blank runestone. My two favorites are the mana upgrade orb and the cooldown upgrade orb. Take your upgrade orbs over to an arcane anvil. Here you're able to use them on your different pieces of armor. What I like to do is I like to have 2 pieces of my armor have 3 cooldown upgrade orbs. You can use a total of 3 on each piece. I'm gonna go ahead and use my helmet as well. And the other 2, I'm just gonna use mana upgrade orbs. But as for actually imbuing, it's possible to add any spell to a chest plate and you can use it without a spellbook. So just as an example, I have Charge, which is a lightning spell. I'm gonna add that to this chest plate, and I'm gonna put on the full set. And as you can see, now I have a total of 800 mana instead of the normal 500 that I would have had with this armor. And you can also see that I have 1 spell available. I don't have a spellbook equipped right now, but I can still activate Charge, giving me all of the buffs of Charge, allowing me to run super fast. But the only thing left to go over in here is the Lesser Spell Slot Improvement, which allows you to increase a spellbook's capacity up to 12 slots. This is crafted by using 6 Hogskin and 3 Arcane Cloth. Hogskin is dropped by Hoglins in the Nether now. It is a new additional drop. It drops very commonly, it's super easy to get. But with this, what you can do is you can take the item and grab any spell book of your choice. I'm going to use the Apprentice spellbook because it has the best buff in my own personal opinion. And since I didn't go over it earlier, the Apprentice spellbook is crafted with 3 gold ingots, 4 arcane essence, and 2 hogskins, which I just showed you how to get. The Enchanted spellbook, which has 10 slots, is crafted with 2 diamonds, 2 arcane cloth, and 4 hogskin, as well as an enchanted book of your choice. And then you get the Enchanted spellbook. Next is the Druid tome, which is crafted with 2 arcane cloth, 1 honey bottle, 1 spore blossom, 1 glowing sack, an amethyst cluster, and a rotten spell spellbook, which is found as loot in chests. Next is the Villager Bible, which is attained by trading with a new NPC, which I'll show you later, as well as the Blaze Instruction Manual, which is also gotten through trading with a new NPC. And then there's the Ancient Codex, which is one of the best spellbooks, which is crafted with 4 arcane cloth, 2 blood vials, a netherite ingot, a bottle of lightning, and a ruined book. Ruined books can be found in chests in ancient cities. Next is the Dragon Skin spellbook, which you can craft with 6 dragon skin, which you get by defeating the Ender Dragon, as well as 2 obsidian and a ruined book. But I'm going to take this apprentice spellbook and go over to the arcane anvil and use my lesser spell slot improvements to increase its max spell capacity from 8 to 9. And I can do this all the way up until I reach 12. And now this can hold 12 spells. In order to technically hold 13, it's possible to imbue a sword with a spell. So right here I have a netherite sword and I'm going to add electrocute to it. So all I gotta do is put the netherite sword in the arcane anvil and then put electrocute in this slot and then it adds it to the sword. So I'm gonna take it out and see right now in my spellbook I have 4 slots, but if I hold the sword, I now suddenly have 5. So electrocute is in this slot, I'm just gonna use it for the sake of it. And I am Palpatine. And you don't even need to have the spellbook on. You can take it off, and it'll still have your only slot as electrocute, or the one spot on your sword. So, yeah, I just love this spell. Unlimited power! But that is pretty much all the basics, so I'm going to end the video because it's going on for over 30 minutes, and I don't want to drag on for too long. So stay tuned for the next video where I'm going to go over advanced magic, new structures, NPCs, and bosses. So stay tuned for that. Goodbye, and I will see you guys in the next video. Unlimited power!